Welcome in and thanks for joining us for the WHHI Daily News, where we strive to bring you more Lowcountry news more often. I'm Bob Stevens. The jury in the Alec Murdaugh murder case is now meeting to decide his fate from the 2 murder charges filed against him. That jury just a little bit different because one of the jurors has been excused on Thursday for discussing the case outside of the jury area. Prosecutors gave their closing arguments late Wednesday. Defense attorneys made their final points on Thursday. So now it's 12 jurors and 1 alternate who are deliberating. The jury could meet through the weekend to work on a verdict if prosecutors can't convince all 12 jurors beyond a reasonable doubt. Murdaugh will escape a conviction, though he still faces numerous charges of financial crimes that he admitted to during his testimony in the murder trial. 10 acres that used to belong to the Lord of Life Lutheran Church on Buckwalter Parkway could become affordable housing now that the Beaufort County Council has voted to buy the land for $3.6 million. The county does not yet have a definitive plan for the property and will debate over the next few months the merits of building a dozen or so homes, 70 or 80 townhouses, or 140 to 150 apartments on the site. It is one of the first actions from the county as a regional housing trust fund comes alive. You've heard the line about the best deterrent to a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. Well, what do you do with a bad guy with a lot of guns? 42-year-old Marquise Pollard of Yemassee has been convicted and sentenced to 8 years in prison and 3 years of supervised release for his involvement in a multi-state gun trafficking ring based in Connecticut. Pollard used straw purchasers to buy guns here in the Lowcountry, and then he sent them to Connecticut for resale. And speaking of criminals, the State House of Representatives, by a bipartisan 92-20 vote, has passed reform to the bail system in the state, adding a 5-year sentence for those convicted of committing a violent crime while they were out on bail for a previous violent crime. They will also force those charged with a violent crime while out on bail to pay the full cash bail, not the customary 10% the second time around. Supporters say the bill should make it harder on defendants to commit more crimes while they await trial on their original arrests. That's the proverbial revolving door they talk about. Critics say the justice system already has tools to address the problem and that it undermines the fundamental belief that you are innocent until proven guilty. And the U.S. military's plan to rename its bases and other assets, getting away from ties to the Confederacy, now has a Lowcountry angle that ties to the Civil War. The former USS Chancellorsville, a guided missile cruiser that was first commissioned back in 1989 and is based in Japan, is being renamed the USS Robert Smalls. The black ship captain from Beaufort, who stole a Confederate ship in Charleston and delivered it to the Union Navy, and later became a congressman representing us in Washington. In making the announcement, the Secretary of the Navy called Smalls, quote, an extraordinary American, who he learned more about when he visited Parris Island last year. He says Smalls' story that is so familiar to us will now be told far and wide. For more information on these and other Lowcountry stories, we invite you to visit the sources listed on your screen. Let's catch up to sports and find out who it was who took that guitar of Darius Rucker's and took it out of state. Justin Jarrett.
Hey, it's time for Last Night in the Lowco on WHHI, powered by LowcoSports.com. And it's officially baseball season in the Lowco. Local high schools are starting to hit the diamond, and the USCB Sand Sharks are in mid-season form, or at least pitcher Cam Demigian is. The awards continue to roll in for Demigian, the sophomore lefty from Jefferson Hills, Pennsylvania, who threw the first perfect game in program history in Saturday's 10-0 win over Claflin. After earning Pitcher of the Week honors from both the Peach Belt and Continental Athletic Conferences, Demigian has been named the NCAA D2 National Pitcher of the Week by the National Collegiate Baseball Writers Association. Demigian sat down all 21 Panthers he faced Saturday with 8 strikeouts to lower his season ERA to 1.04. Opponents are hitting 102 against him, and he's allowing less than 1 base runner every 2 innings. Nasty. The Sand Sharks have won 4 straight going into a big Peach Belt series at home against USC Aiken starting Friday. Speaking of dominant pitching, Hilton Head Prep wrapped up the Orangeburg Prep tournament with a 3-0 record, outscoring its opponents 39-1. The Dolphins blanked Edisto 10-0 and blew out Thomas Hayward 15-1 on Wednesday to wrap up the tournament. In other action around the Loco, Battery Creek girls soccer improved to 5-0 with a rout of Woodland. Dolphins have not yet allowed a goal this season, and Hilton Head High boys lacrosse beat visiting Richmond Hill to improve to 2-0. For Loco Sports and WHHI, I'm Justin Jarrett. Until next time, go Loco.
Thanks, Justin. Guessing the pollen count's not going to change much over the next few days. How about the highs and lows, Maria Soden?
Thanks. Yep, so taking a look ahead, it does look like we'll see some nice weather this weekend, but taking a look at Friday, it is going to be cloudy and very windy in the morning, and then by the afternoon, we will be seeing some strong thunderstorms rolling through, but then it should be clearing up by the evening. Hilton Head's going to have a high of 73, a low of 63. Bluffton's going to have a high of 76, a low of 62, and Beaufort's going to have a high of 77 and a low of 63. The sunrise for Friday is going to be at 6:48 and sunset's going to be at 6:22. Taking a look at the beach tides, low tide is going to be at 1:35 p.m. and high tide is going to be at 6:28 p.m. Taking a look into the weekend a little bit into next week, Saturday's going to be mostly cloudy with highs in the 70s and lows in the 60s. Come Sunday, it's going to be sunny with highs in the 70s and lows in the 50s. And then come Monday, it's going to be sunny with highs in the 70s and lows in the 50s. That's it for today. Let's head it back to the desk.
Thanks, Maria. Coming up, we're going to get you ready for the weekend. A whole lot going on, as it usually is in a spring march in the Lowcountry. We're also going to talk about a problem that is getting worse now in the Lowcountry again this spring, feeding each other. Stay with us.